Anyways, so just a bit of context. This was my position in about 2022. So my first commission ever was in February 2021. In 2022, I had been posting consistently for about a year, and I'm getting about 5 to 20 likes. This was one of my best posts at the time. It was a 24 likes. This is after a year of posting, bear in mind. I'm making about 1k a month, which I was 17 at the time. Solid for my age. And it was in March 27, 2022, where I had my first sort of like, not viral, but viral sort of post. One that does quite well. 96 likes. When I've been averaging 10 likes for the last year, that's solid. Then I worked with Sona again, and we had another banger. I'd honed in my style. I'd learned what performs well with previews, things like that. And since this point, I've basically never worked under $500, and that's people coming to me. I've gained a lot more authority in the space. Honestly, this was the kickstart of my career. And in that 1 year, I went from 1k a month to making over 10k, literally just within that 1 year. And a lot of people don't know this, but I was actually the one who reached out to Sona. This was during one of my mass outreach periods, which lasted basically forever. I messaged her on January 29th. Hey, I saw you're looking for an editor. I have a portfolio ready. The outreach attempt was horrible. In fact, she actually ghosted me for 2 months. I mean, one day I open my Twitter, I see her saying that she's interested. I didn't even remember that I sent this outreach. But me outreaching here was literally like, I will put so much of my career success into this one outreach. In fact, I've actually gotten most of my clients through outreach. I wanted to just quickly show some of my Twitter DMs. I'll just scroll through real quick. So this is my Twitter DMs. Can you boys see this? I'm just gonna scroll through my Twitter DMs real quick. This is me scrolling as fast as possible, by the way. We're still in 2023. We're in 2022 now, and we're not even halfway done with our DMs. Basically, my point is, I've DM'd a lot of fucking people. Probably about 80% of these are outreaches. If I clicked on any random one, it's like, yeah, it's about outreaches. It's like most of these were outreaches. Here you can see there's probably how many would there roughly be here, boys? Maybe like 500, 1,000. Most of these I got rejected for. I'll keep it real. But the few that I did get accepted for, they were the ones that I worked with, and that's built my career up now. And I put so much of my success down to outreach. So essentially, there's only 2 ways to get clients. There's outreach and inbound. And for anyone that doesn't know, outreach is when you go out to someone else in order for you to work with them. And then inbound is where they come to you. A lot of people ask the question, which one is better, outreach or inbound? And on first glance, when you hear about it, everyone just kind of thinks inbound is better, right? That's just everyone's default state. The problem is, it's kind of a flawed question. You can't really ask which one's better, because that assumes you need to do one or the other. This isn't a zero-sum game. A zero-sum game is basically where you say, okay, I can only do one thing or the other. If I'm going to do outreach, I have to turn down my inbound. If I want to do inbound, I have to turn off my outreach. A lot of people don't realize you can literally just choose to do both. You can get both of them done at the same time. It's almost like asking, should I go to the gym or should I eat clean? The question in itself is flawed. In fact, both of them actually feed into each other. When you do outreach, you will actually get the clients to build your brand and get more inbounds. When you get more inbounds, it means to get more inbounds, you build your brand. So you build your brand, your outreach will actually become more effective because people will go onto your page, and when you outreach to someone, they'll see your page and they're like, oh, he's actually a solid guy. So it's not inbound or outbound. It's you can do both. And another phrase I really want to just instill into you now: outreach is not a beginner method. how many people here have at least seen one editor in maybe a Discord chat or on Twitter where they kind of shit on outreach? They're like, oh, I would never do outreach, or outreach is so bad, inbounds are the way. Has everyone here seen someone on Twitter like that, or on Discord? The thing is, people think that you get outreach and then you do inbound for the rest of your career. When in reality, outreach works at the beginning levels, the middle levels, and later levels as well. I still outreach. If you hear other people saying, oh, outreach is bad, inbounds are the way, sure, like, inbounds are important, but clearly, if there's a broke editor who's struggling to get past a couple thousand a month, and he's saying, oh, I could never outreach anymore, I have clients already. He's just seen a little bit of success. He's started making his first couple thousand, and now he's starting to preach about how outreach is horrible. Don't install the beliefs of broke editors. Outreach is not a beginner method. So, okay, so we're going to outreach. First things first, we need to actually know where to get the clients, because we need people to outreach too. You boys are all in the lair. Man's a W plug. This is inside the lair, bro. So just go through client acquisition practical. In all honesty, the platforms that you outreach on basically work the same. There are some subtle differences with like the format of typing and stuff like that, but honestly, most of it works the exact same. At the end of the day, they're all just humans. It doesn't matter if there's a human on Twitter or a human on email, they're going to react to your message in the same way. So for finding clients, the main platforms are Twitter, email, Discord, and then things like YouTube Jobs and Vouch. Twitter is honestly the one that I've put in 99.9% of my effort into, and I would recommend it for you boys to do the same, just because I know exactly how to do it. If you want exact steps on each platform, just go to client acquisition. You boys will have access to the course. Now that you've found the clients, the next logical step is deciding who are you going to work with. Obviously, there's a statistic that I actually found out. There's around 200 million content creators in the world right now. And obviously, it's such a fast growing economy. Like, the creator economy is literally one of the fastest growing industries. I'm pretty sure the most desired job for the last like 3 or 4 years has been YouTuber when they do like surveys. So obviously we can't work with all of them. So the question becomes, who do we decide to work with? Who are we going to outreach to? A lot of the time, I have editors asking me, oh, like, I can't really find people to reach out to. And my initial thought is there's 200 million content creators. You're telling me there's not one out there that is looking for an editor and that you can decide to outreach to. There's always people out there. The problem, and then I dove into their situation a little more, and it turns out it's because that they were trying to find it in a specific niche or a specific price point or a specific personality. And at first that sounds right. Like, you hear all this advice online. Oh, if you want to make more money, niche down, niche down. When you're into business, niche down. If you want to make more money as an editor, niche down. I fundamentally don't agree with that. You need to ask yourself the question, what are you trying to optimize for? Your career, you as an editor, this is you right now. This is your goals. Not even within editing. This is your goals as in like with life. So you want to make this much money, or you want to live this certain sort of lifestyle. Your career is literally just the vehicle. This is like, imagine, okay, we're going to draw a minecart. This is like in Minecraft when you have the rails. Your career is just the minecart. It's just the vehicle that you use to get to your goals. So what are we trying to optimize for? In all honesty, for most of us, it's probably just making more money. Like, I'll keep it real. For me, throughout my entire career, even now, my career serves to make me money and allow me to live the lifestyle I want. I don't want to work a normal job. I don't want to go to university. My career has allowed me to do that. For everyone here, what is the one thing that you're trying to optimize for? In all honesty, like, you can say it, boys. Money. Yeah, for most of us it is money, and if it isn't, like, if you don't mind editing on the side, where you're just doing it as a hobby and you're okay with doing it on the weekends while you work a normal job and you go to university, that's fine. That it's not. This is not me saying that it's a bad thing to not want to do it for the money. But all of you boys in here, you're in the editing lab because you want to make more money from editing. So if you are trying to, now that we've decided what we're trying to optimize for, we take the steps in order to actually achieve that. And editing videos and reaching out to people just because you like the niche, sure, it might be kind of enjoyable, but I found for myself, when it comes to me enjoying videos, I enjoy videos that I get paid for. I'll keep it so raw. I've never cared about the niche. Sure, there's some niches that I kind of like more than others, but generally, as long as I'm making money from a video, I'm happy. If it came down to me having a video that I really, really like and I'm getting paid nothing for it, I would rather, if I was getting paid 1,000 for a video that, not that I didn't like, but I still enjoyed, but it just wasn't 100% enjoyment, maybe it's my 9 out of 10 perfect video, I'd rather get paid a couple of thousand. I said, I think that's personal. I agree. I just think that it's almost on a spectrum. Like, to what point are you willing to sacrifice like your 10 out of 10 hobby? I found that it's actually a curve like this. At first, you're basically saying like, I'm doing it just like a hobby. Like, I don't care about money at all. In the middle, you have like the vast majority of people who are saying like, I'm doing it for the money. And then after, you basically, you go back to doing it as a hobby. This is after you've basically achieved everything. So it's like, okay, this says hobby, by the way. Like, you're basically just editing for fun, and you've gotten to a point where you editing for fun makes you money. You make money by accident at this point. If you're around here right now, where you're just starting out, maybe you're making a few thousand, maybe it's kind of inconsistent. The truth is, you need to go through this stage. And then once you've basically mastered that stage, yeah, you move back into like the hobby thing and you're making money anyways. So you've optimized for both money and enjoyment. So when it comes to who to work with, personally, I would say work with anyone you can. You can have your like moral boundaries. Like, for me personally, this isn't me pushing my ideologies onto anyone. If it comes to OnlyFans content or like anything to do with porn, I just won't take it on. Same thing with gambling. This is just my personal moral thing. If you want to take on OnlyFans content, go for it. This is just my thing. As long as it's not these things, I will take that video on. And I will go through the iterative pricing framework, which you boys all have within the client acquisition course. I just keep going through that cycle and I just keep making more and more money. And I end up enjoying the videos anyways. Because once you get to a certain point, you're making the money and then you have the option to say no to people. So when it comes to who to outreach to, just outreach to everyone. And honestly, once they've replied, then you can figure out if you want to work with them. This is not me saying you need to take on every client. I'm saying figure out which ones you want to take on and which ones you don't, which ones you will enjoy, which ones you won't, after you've already outreached and they've replied back. Because there might be, let me pick up another slide here. This is what it's normally going to look like. You're going to outreach to, let's say, like 100 people. Maybe 1 or 2 will actually reply. And then you're telling me from these guys, you're going to pick like, okay, I'm going to work with this one. I would much rather you have, honestly, yeah, so this is how it would typically look. The problem is when you only outreach to people that you like are your perfect dream client at first, this is what happens. You've maybe got 5 people that you actually want to reach out to. Now, what's the likelihood that one of those are actually going to reply and then end up working with you? So I've always preferred this mass outreach. Mass outreach not meaning it's just a dry copy and paste, but I'll show you how to sort of personalize it without taking too much of your time. But mass outreach to basically anyone that you would potentially work with given the right price. And then once they reply, that's when you can figure out, okay, do I decide to take them on or not? So when it comes to the first message, we found a person, the client now. So we've used Twitter search, we've used like Discord servers, we've used those job posting sites. A lot of the time with job posting sites, just a quick tip, You can find a job on a job posting site, and if they have their DMs open on Twitter, you can message them there as well, just so you're one of the few people that do. So you found a person, and now your first message. There is no single best message. There's no one message where if you send this one message, you get everyone hiring you. It just doesn't exist. If someone tries selling you something where they say this is the one best message, it doesn't really work. Instead, I'm going to give you guidelines. So this is basically general rules. I'm going to give you the framework for a good outreach message, and I'll give you some examples as well. First of all, we got to keep it concise. Don't send walls of texts. You know, when you have like just an entire block of text, if your outreach goes more than like 4 lines, that's considered more of wall of text at this point. And when you're reaching out to someone, you kind of want to make it as easy as possible for them to consume your message. So making it short, concise, just making it clear what you want. Who here has been in a stage where they've sent a wall of text before? I'd be the first to say I've sent a wall of text before, like, and I'm assuming you found when you send walls of text, you tend to get less responses and shorter messages. The universe doesn't really owe us anything. We can't expect a client to take the time just to read an entire paragraph. So we keep it concise. Next thing is we 80-20 the personalization. So this is where, who here has heard the 80-20 rule? Someone type in sort of what they believe 80-20 rule is. Just someone explain it for anyone that doesn't know. %20 of the work that brings in 80% of the results, just like Archie said. So you've got like 100 units of work that you do. This is what you do every day. Only about 20% of your actual actions will be leading to the majority of your results. The rest of the 80% of your effort is actually just wasted on like, okay, there's a tiny bit of results, but we might as well focus all our effort on this 20% of tasks that bring us most of the results. So with personalization, technically we could go into their YouTube channel and create an entire like custom made like Loom outreach where we record the 3 ways that they can improve retention and all this crap. That would take way too long. You're probably going to take half an hour, 2 hours just in one single outreach. In order for you to get to volume, like I showed you before, all those outreaches I sent, I physically wouldn't be able to send that many if I tried personalizing all the way. But we don't want to go on the other end of the spectrum where we're not personalizing at all, where it literally says like, hey bro. When someone sees hey bro, they know that it's a copy and paste. You can use the word bro, but if it has their name here, so let's say Mark, this is just a random name. Hey Mark, it's clear you've taken like, even if it's 4 seconds just to write this. It makes you stand out from the guy that literally says, hey, here's my portfolio. So 80-20 to personalization. This is one of the few things that you can personalize. Also, maybe one short phrase about the content they do. Hey, X, I saw you posted this sort of content. I'd love to work with you. So show that you've worked with their sort of content. Play the games that you'll win. If you go onto their YouTube and you figure out that he posted this sort of content and literally 2 days later he said he's looking for an editor, likelihood is he's looking for that same type of edit. So you can actually link it in your outreach and be like, hey, I saw you looking for an editor. I'm assuming it's for this style. Here's some of my work that's super close to that. Shows you just put in that 20 seconds extra. So that's 80-20 to personalization. Next, you've got clear intentions. You have no idea how many DMs even I get, and I'm a small channel, of people just saying, hey, or yo, hey bro, are you free to talk? Just get to the point. I understand these phrases in real life, they are good. If you're in a call, if me and you are on like a one-to-one call and we just say, hey bro, how's it going? Like, that's a normal phrase. Because I can literally, if I'm on a call with you, I can instantly respond. When you're speaking with your friends, you can say, oh, hey bro, how's it going? and then they'll respond, and then you ask for what you want. The mannerisms that you use offline, so in real life versus on text, they're very different. You can think that you're being nice by saying, hey, how's it going? But in all honesty, when a client is getting hundreds of DMs a day, and this isn't even just from editors, but also just from his friends and stuff, he's going to prioritize the people that stop wasting his time. So you just get straight into the message. Don't say, hey, bro, and then wait, and then send your portfolio. You just put it all in one go. Like, hey, I'm going to say, hey, bro, because I don't have a client name right now. Hey, bro, I saw you looking for an editor. Here's a video that I've done recently, or similar one. It's clear what I'm trying to do. It says I'm an editor in my profile. I've just sent him my editing work. I mentioned that he's looking for an editor. Likelihood is I'm going to try to sell him my editing services. People actually like you being straight up. And then direct link to portfolio. Does everyone here have their portfolio in their Twitter bio? Realistically, when you DM a client, all they have to do is click on your profile and then click on your bio. It's literally a two-step process. But that is still a two-step process. You can reduce resistance even more by making it a one-step process of just having it in the message. Realize that every step you take a client through, if you're not holding their hand, they have a likelihood to run off. So you need to hold their hand through it and make it so they don't even need to move much. So some messages that could work well, like we said, there's no single best message, but my sort of outreach is usually something along the lines of, hey Mark, I saw you're looking for an editor. Here's a video that I've edited recently. Here's a video that's similar to your recent edit or recent video. If you have a personalized video, should we link both or just the one? So do you mean with portfolio and the specific video that's similar? I would honestly do both. It depends. If you have one that's super similar, like literally you have like a Reacts. This happened to me with the Reacts channel. I was working with just Reacts, which is like basically one of the biggest Reacts channels. I've also done the same with Beast Reacts. So when a new Reacts channel comes to me, or I'll go to a new Reacts channel, my portfolio can be useful, but I can literally just link a couple of the Reacts videos that I've done, and I don't need to do my portfolio. If it's someone where it's in maybe a similar-ish style, or it's the similar-ish niche, but it's not exactly the same, then just do both the direct YouTube links and the portfolio. And if you haven't got anything similar at all, just send your portfolio. Don't do what most editors do. This is something like, they don't do it, they do it because they're trying to be like nice, but they will say, I haven't edited this type of video before, or I've never tried this before. You might never have tried it before. Don't tell them that. If they ask, have you edited this type of video before? Then you can be honest and tell them, no, I haven't, but I'm down to give it a shot. But don't come into the outreach by telling them your flaws. It's like imagine you go to a job interview and you told them, yeah, bro, I think I'm qualified for the job. And before they even say anything, you're like, by the way, about maybe once a week, I might come late because I have a tendency to do that. And also, there's times where I'll just be chilling on my phone, just letting you know. You wouldn't do that in an interview. In the same way, you don't give your bad points. If you haven't worked with someone, with something, don't say you haven't worked with them unless they ask. And it can seem like, oh, but then that's lying. It's not lying. It's you're showing your portfolio. You're just showing the work that you've done. So play to your strengths. If you have worked with someone in that niche, send them the videos you have. If you haven't, just send your portfolio. This is the general structure for an outreach. You can experiment with different variations. This is where basically, maybe for 50 people, you send like a certain type of message, and then for 50 people, you try another. And over time, after hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of outreach, your brain will start to automatically realize, oh, when I type in this way, this is what works. This is how I know these things work, because I've sent thousands of messages to the point where my brain knows what works and what doesn't. So just experiment with different variations of what I've said. You'll find what works with your style, with your sort of personality. Quick tip. before outreaching, just follow them and like one or two of their tweets. Is there anyone that has done this before, and is there anyone that hasn't really tried this before? Like, just type 1 if you've tried it, type 2 if you've never. Okay. This is something that I found worked quite well when I was outreaching a lot. Just follow them and like a couple of their tweets. Just because it leverages something called law of reciprocity. Law of reciprocity is where, let's say this is you and this is some random stranger. If this random stranger just came up to you and asked, "Can I have $5?" you probably wouldn't give it to him if a random stranger walked up to you on the street. Compare that to if you were just walking on the street. So this is another reality. You're walking on the street and you just went shopping. You got loads of groceries and stuff for your mum, and you just dropped all your groceries. There's apples on the floor. Basically, everything's everywhere. This stranger comes up to you and he doesn't even say anything. He just comes up to you and helps you out. You didn't even ask him to help you. Now, 2 days later, you two both meet again, and he says, "Yo, bro, can I have $5? Like, I'm really short on cash right now." Technically, you haven't even gotten to know this person, but you just feel more inclined to give him the $5 because in the past he has done something for you. Humans have this natural tendency to give to people that have given to us before. It's why you're more comfortable helping out your friend with a homework than some random dick in your class who asks you to give him the answers. Law of reciprocity here is when you follow them and you like a couple of their tweets, sure, it's not a surefire way to get the response, but it sure does help. Is my following ratio going down? You can unfollow them after a couple of days. If they don't respond after a couple of days, you can literally just unfollow them. If the creator is really big, would you recommend DMing their manager or producer? I would try both. From what I've found, going for the really big guys, it's usually going to be when they're actually actively looking for an editor, or if you can get a recommendation. With the super big guys, it'll usually be them coming to you, but the way you get that is by try to outreach no matter what, because there's no loss ever. Like you can't lose by outreaching. You can only gain. And just continue outreaching, keep working with larger and larger guys until the best creators out there work with you. That is literally how you work with the big guys. If you have this is a quick tip. I helped Garfield with this before. If you have a certain creator in your niche, in a niche that you want to edit in, and you feel as though they're so unobtainable, a really good way to get this creator to reach out to you, just outreach to all their competitors, outreach to the other biggest clients in the in their niche. So that, let's say this is a huge documentary creator, work with all the other documentary creators and over deliver on theirs, and this person will actually get jealous of you, and then he'll either find out about you, or you can go up to him and say, "Hey, I've worked with all these guys." It just makes them jealous. But essentially that is how you work with the super large guys. Okay, cool. So you send your super simple outreach one line and you do a lot with it. You keep volume high. And when you get ghosted, because this is inevitable, first thing you need to realize, it's not personal. Don't take it as oh, I'm not good enough, or this person thinks I'm shit, or look at me, I can never get clients. Don't take it personally. I remember when I started outreaching for the first few times, I took it really personally. I used to think oh, my portfolio wasn't good enough, my brand wasn't good enough. And while sure, it is good for you to take responsibility, in most cases, the guy just had 50 other DMs, or the guy was just busy. What I recommend doing, send 1 to 2 follow-ups. So that's you sending the client the outreach, and if they don't respond, let's say within 2, 3, 4 days, you've got to kind of read the room. If they recently posted an editor tweet and then you just reached out, literally a day after they posted, they're looking for editor tweet, you reached out, then you can follow up again after a couple of days. But if you're just outreaching out of nowhere, maybe send one follow up, but don't beg it. But the worst thing you could do is lose frame. This is where, and you can tell me if anyone's done this before, You outreach to someone, maybe you give them a price because you gave it too early. You give them a price, they air you, and then you say something like, okay, what about 150? I I can negotiate price if you're down. I've done that. Or they reject you, and then you try lowering your prices, or you just basically you've lost frame. Frame is where it's basically you being sure of yourself. It's almost like confidence in what you have is worth it. That's what frame is. And it's not changing your opinion, it's not changing your stance on the situation based off of someone else's reaction. Just because someone goes to you, don't lose frame. You can be nice, give a follow up, like, hey bro, just checking in with this. Or like, yeah, like just something small. One or two. There's slang in the UK. I'm not sure if it's used anywhere else in the world, but when people say like, "Oh, don't beg it, don't beg it," it basically means like, I mean, it sounds like it means what it sounds like. Just don't be begging it. People can smell the neediness on you when you don't get a response and you lose frame and you drop your prices. That client will never reach out to you again because it shows you don't have respect for yourself. So you send your outreach. If they don't respond, just send a couple follow-ups. It's not personal. If you get ghosted, you get ghosted. Who cares? The worst thing you can do is take it as a personal attack. Just move on to the next, bro. What I recommend doing is batch your follow-ups. So let's say you've outreached to 100 people. In about maybe a week later, just go through all of your DMs and just send the same like follow-up message for anyone that didn't respond. The whole point of follow-ups isn't that you need the client. It's just, I just want to see if it's worth it. Like, you shouldn't be emotionally attached to an outreach before you've actually like started talking to them and worked with them. Just batch it up. Just spend like 10 minutes and sending up, hey bro, just checking up on this, checking up on this, checking up on this. Hey, just want to know if you're still interested. Things like that. Has anyone here heard the term batching? This is a good productivity technique. Has anyone here heard it? Xander, you want to unmute and just let everyone know the definition of it? I mean, okay, someone type it in chat. What's batching? Stacking up everything and doing it all at once. Perfect, yeah. So it's where, let's say you're all wearing a t-shirt right now or some sort of clothes. I hope you're wearing clothes right now if you're on a call with me. If your t-shirt right now, your hoodie right now got dirty, you wouldn't instantly throw it into the washing machine. You'd probably wait for a couple pieces to stack up, put it in a laundry basket, and then you put the entire laundry basket into the washing machine. That's what batching is. You don't do it one at a time, you just do it all in one go. Same thing with follow-ups. You motherfuckers are all shirtless. What the hell, bro? Does no one have a shirt on right now? What if they're in one friend group and they share it on Discord that I do this batch? Does this tarnish my reputation? No, honestly. Bro, you're overthinking shit. No one's going to do that. First of all, super unlikely that they're all in one friend group. Like, because there's 200 million creators out there. You outreach to maybe 100 in one session. Already, it's super unlikely. And even if you do, I promise you, there's not many that say, "Oh, like how many editors outreach to each creator?" Probably like 50, right? For a job post. They're not, every time they get an outreach, they're not showing their friends and saying, "Look, this editor outreach to me." Like, they're not really doing that. You're overthinking it, bro. Don't worry. So that's with follow-ups. Now, you're going to have either a win or a loss situation. You've outreached now. You're either going to get the client or you're not going to get the client. These are the two states that no get client. Yeah, I love typing like this. Get client or no get client. These are the two states that you can be in. If you think in this sort of frame, this sort of mindset, you're going to lose all your motivation. You're going to outreach a certain amount of times. You're not going to get clients, and then you're going to feel demotivated. And what a lot of editors end up doing is they measure success like this, and then they slow down the volume. They start lose motivation, and then they stop outreaching because it didn't work. Which, just of course, all of us can hear this now and call it stupid. Like, oh, if you tried something and it didn't work the first time, that doesn't mean you stop it. Of course not. But most editors do. When I ask an editor, why are you not outreaching, they'll say, I've tried it, but it didn't work. It's like, this is the same thing as saying, I'm going to stop going to the gym because I haven't put on any muscle yet. I went for 3 sessions. I looked in the mirror and there's no muscle. So I'm going to stop going to the gym. I sent out 10 outreach. I didn't get any clients. So I stopped outreaching. It's the same thing. Instead, so this is the reason that this all happens is because this is how you're framing a win and a loss. We want to reframe it in our minds. Sure, you can still see a win as getting the client. That's still a positive. But we can reframe the loss of at least we're in their minds. There's a beautiful phrase that Eva said to me, which I don't know why this is still stuck up to me after months. The no is guaranteed. The no is guaranteed. If you reach out to a creator and they reject you or they ghost you, that's a no, right? So you get demotivated and then you don't outreach. That's still a no because you didn't end up working with them. The no is guaranteed. This is the default state. By outreaching, at least you give yourself a shot. And if you do miss the shot, at least you're in their minds. At least you're on the court. I want to show you my DMs with the Sidemen. So this is the Sidemen's manager, Victor. He's basically the director for the Sidemen. In 2022, this is September 2022. Hey Victor, I've been following you in the Sidemen space for a while now. Would love to chat about it. And then sent some links. This is before I had like a full portfolio. And then I did a follow-up. Hey, you must get a ton of messages a day, so I just wanted to follow up on this. This follow-up message was good. This thing, it was quite solid actually. This is actually a good thing. This is actually solid. Was a very good outreach now that I think about it. If this was a better portfolio link, it would be better. But you have the specified link. They were looking for ones for the VX channel. And your actual portfolio, then the follow-up. September 26, 2022. January 15, 2023. September, October, November, December, January. 4 or 5 months. I'm not sure how it works, but 5 months basically. Just to reply. And what's interesting is he still ended up ghosting me after this. Like, he just said, glad to have connected. I followed up and he ghosted me. Fast forward 2 entire years. So this was in 2022, but now I'm 2024. Hey bro, how you doing? Hey, is this for an open position? This is for an editing gig. Toby, so one of the members of the Sidemen, is looking for an editor, and I thought of you. The Sidemen, the director of the Sidemen, they basically have access to every single editor in the world. If most editors, if Sidemen came up to them and said, hey, we're looking for an editor, they wouldn't even care about the money. They would just work with them. And I'm here where someone's saying, I thought of you. Do you know how crazy that is? So sure, I might have gotten rejected 2 years ago, but the fact that I messaged them just got me in their head. Most editors would see this as a loss, where they got ignored for like 5 months and then finally got a response and still didn't end up working with them for 2 years. At least you're in their head. So stop seeing a win as a get client and a loss as no get client. When you get ignored, just see it as at least you're in their mind. It's also because of your brand image evolving 100%. I was building my brand during this time as well, but notice how I didn't stop. If you outreach a certain amount of times and I got rejected by these guys, I still went on to outreach to another 3, 4, 500 people and worked with them. Remember what I said here. If you have a certain client you want to get, go work with other people and become so good that the person you want actually gets jealous and then ends up working with you. So it all comes together, Kirill, just like you mentioned. A part of you is gonna be a little scared. This fear of rejection. So essentially, most editors, when I hear them struggling with outreach, the problem isn't that their outreach is bad. The problem isn't that they're struggling with outreach. The problem isn't that their messages aren't good. They literally just aren't sending messages at all. Their outreach is not working because they're not even outreaching. And most of that comes down to a fear of rejection. This is a fear of someone saying no to you. First thing you need to realize is everyone feels this. I feel this. The other editors in this call feel this. You feel this. Fear of rejection is normal. No one likes going up to someone, you trying to start a conversation, and then they basically shut you down. It feels like shit. It's a normal feeling, and what really helped me get over my fear of rejection is understanding why it happens. So it was during this podcast that I was watching by Dr. K. It's like Healthy Gamer GG on YouTube. Realize that feelings only exist because they have an evolutionary advantage. If there is a certain feeling in your head or a certain thought pattern that happens in your head and you haven't actively put it in, so you don't force yourself to feel fear of rejection, it just happens, that means that your biology has basically made that happen. And if your biology has put a certain thought pattern into your head, it's because at one point in history, there was an evolutionary advantage to having that feeling. The feeling of happiness there's an evolutionary advantage to it because you do a certain action that gives you happiness. So then your brain basically knows, keep doing more of this thing. That's why we feel happiness when we have social interactions. That's why we feel happiness when we do certain activities that make us feel good. And usually it'll be like a lot of healthier things. If you did a dopamine detox, this is why you'll find things like running, things like working, things like socializing, these actually become fun because this is your body's natural way of making you do good things. Fear, this had an evolutionary advantage. Big bear, this is a bear, is scary. You get scared by it, so you run away. This means you survive for another day. There was an evolutionary advantage to people that felt fear. Because the people that didn't feel fear, they didn't have this little exclamation mark. They didn't feel fear, and the bear fucking ate them. So there was an evolutionary advantage to fear. Same thing with pride. When you feel prideful over what you've done, so pride is basically you've achieved a certain thing, and you like the feeling of other people looking at you. So this is like an eyeball. Other people looking at you, you like that feeling, and it makes you feel good about yourself. You're a sense of pride. This is good. Like, there's a reason why we naturally feel prideful. It's because when you do something that is for the benefit of the tribe, so other people will look at you and say, wow, that was good, and you feel prideful, that encourages you to keep doing the thing. A lot of people feel pride when, let's say, if you bought someone a gift, if you were out with all your friends, let's say 3-4 friends, and you bought everyone a coffee, everyone looks at you and says like thank you, whatever, or like you feel like the man for a moment and you feel quite prideful. Whether you think it's a good thing or a bad thing, you feel that emotion. You feel good about yourself. That feeling, if you felt that feeling and it was positive, the next time you're in a situation, you will be more likely to start giving as well. You will be more likely to do the action again. So it's in the tribe's benefit. Everyone gets more of everything when we give people a feeling of pride when they do something that's good for everyone. Same thing with shame. When you do something that everyone looks at you and you don't like that feeling, when you promised your friends that, when you promised a client that you'd get a video done and you didn't get it done, someone else is looking at you and is disappointed and you feel shame. So now you know that next time you will not do that action and the tribe will benefit. And the example that was given that really helped me understand where shame comes from. Imagine if you went on to... So this is you and your tribe, right? you and your tribe, lots of people, and this day you were basically told out to go hunt. You went and hunted, and everyone here is waiting for you. They're expecting you to come back with meat. You kill a bear, and you kill it. It's dead now. You get the meat, and you're coming back home with the meat. But before you give it to your tribe, you go to your house, and you stash away the meat. You stash away the food, okay? And then you go to your tribe and you say, "Oh, there wasn't any. I couldn't find any. Like there was nothing there." The tribe will starve. Like they don't blame you because there was just none there. But the tribe is detrimented by that. And then 2 nights later, they come to your house and you're just there still eating the food that you saved for yourself. Imagine the amount of fear that this person that lied would feel. So to make sure that like this was evolutionary, tribes that had people that felt shame when they did bad things tended to be tribes that continued to thrive, meaning that this feeling had an evolutionary advantage because the people that didn't feel shame would keep doing this thing. Sounds a bit weird. I don't know if anyone got any of that, but that really helped me understand it. So the feeling of rejection is a normal thing. It's something that had an evolutionary advantage. If you went up to someone and they showed a negative emotion to you, your brain, if it had to categorize them as friend or foe, it would naturally put them as foe. And your brain doesn't like chilling with people that it considers foe, considers like a bad person. So we just won't go up to that person. So if you again and again are getting rejected by client after client after client, you'll see this new client who you've never had an interaction with, and all those feelings of all the other clients that you've been rejected by, this person personifies that. You meet this new client that you could outreach to and you feel the fear of rejection, not because this person done anything bad to you, but you had negative experiences with all of these people. So it's natural that you feel a fear of rejection, but what's helped me is mentally reframing it. When your sort of natural mind gives you a thought, you can reframe that. You can change how you perceive that thought. You can take it from, I'm scared that this person isn't going to work with me, to, I'm just not compatible with 99% of clients anyways. Of course, I'll try to make it work, but likelihood is, if I get rejected and I brought everything I needed to the table. I'm a good editor. I have good communication. I was being honest. I showed him my work, and he still rejected me. We just weren't compatible. I give my prices and they say no. That's not a bad thing. We just weren't compatible. In all honesty, if you are in a position right now where every single person that you reach out to and responds to you, all of them are saying yes to your prices, you might think that's a good thing. The truth is, you're probably charging too low. It's actually not a good thing for no one to reject you. Rejection it's a part of business. If you can't deal with rejection, you can't deal with business. Business is how many no's can you take without giving up. So this is the frame that I like to use. It's like, if someone rejects me over prices, I just wasn't compatible. If someone wants a deadline within 4 hours, because I've had someone do that once, they asked me to get videos done in 4 hours of sending footage, and they wouldn't even, it's not even like they'll tell me exactly when they'll send it. They said, we'll send it any time throughout the day, but we need it from 4 to 6 hours. I'm like, bro, okay. Yeah, I don't think so. They're just not people you're compatible with. So you might as well just reach out to everyone, figure out if you're compatible with them. The point of messaging people isn't just to get them to hire you. It's to figure out if you're compatible. When you go on dates, this is something that really helped me with confidence on dates. The point of a date isn't to get her to like me. The point is literally to find out if we're compatible or not. Let me see if I even like her. When you're messaging a client, figure out if you even want to work on the videos. He did this to me for I missed that was up. Exactly, boys. Like, I was seeing if we were compatible. But yeah, once again, for males, the no is guaranteed. At least you're in their minds. That's all that matters. So, essentially that's most of like the mindset stuff. You when it comes down to it, you know exactly how to outreach. I've shown you how to find people, what to say, how to follow up, and this is now more of the mindset things about it. In the mindset course, we talk a lot about abundance mindset. So there's two types of mindset. You can have an abundance mindset and a scarcity mindset. Abundance mindset is when you have a fundamental belief that what you want is out there. You want to make money and you know that there are trillions of dollars in the world. All you need to do is take a couple thousand and that's a full-time income. Is it reasonable that I can take $10,000 out of the market when there are billions of dollars transacted every day? Yeah, it is. Scarcity mindset is there's not enough money in the world. Look, everyone's struggling. See, that's the reason I'm not making money is because there's not enough clients out there. That's what a scarcity mindset is. So you will always get more clients when you have the abundance mindset. The editors that feel as though they have more clients and they know what to do with, it's a lot easier for them to get more clients. Because when you are an editor that operates with scarcity, what sort of messages do you send? You'll follow up 8 times. You'll beg them to work with you. You'll just ping them. You'll say, you'll drop your prices. That's someone operating in a scarcity mindset, and it's fucking disgusting in a client size. So the prompt that kind of helps me with abundance mindset is just act like a player. Like, you know those guys that just like fuck around with women? Like, it sounds horrible, but this is basically like the extreme end of the spectrum. So it's not like abundance or scarcity, it's a spectrum, right? You can lay anywhere. So this is scarcity, this is abundance. This, you want to, the further up this way you can be, the better. If you are here right now, or like you're anywhere in here, which honestly most people are, if you're not getting clients, you are more likely on this side of the spectrum, just naturally. We need to move you across this way. Even if you're around here, it would still be better. The problem is, if we aim for here, you're just going to end up not moving much. So just go onto the extreme end of the spectrum, and then you can tone yourself down. This is how I became more confident in real life, I'll be honest. I kind of changed my identity to become super, super cocky. I still look back at myself from last year. I was so cocky and I had no right to be. I was just loud, obnoxious, and then I toned it down. But me, naturally, I was here. In order for me to make progress, I had to go extreme and then tone it down. So just use this phrase, like act like a player, someone that just jumps around. That's the prompt that I use to kind of build this. You don't owe shit to a client. When you have someone that says, oh, I'll get back to you, that's not your client. When someone says, oh, bro, I'll send the footage soon, that's not your client. When someone says, oh, we can talk about it, that's not your client. Until someone is literally, they have sent money into your account, they are not a client. This is not me saying ignore anyone until they give you money, because obviously that doesn't make sense. Like, even if you're being a player, you still need to talk to people. Be nice, but always be outreaching. Always just, until money has been sent, that's not your client. And you will only operate with an abundance mindset if you deep down know, I am speaking to this client, so this is you, this is the client. You will only operate in abundance and speak with more confidence when you know in your DMs there's another 60 people that you're speaking to. That's when you will talk with confidence. You don't even need to learn the exact phrases. You don't need to learn all the exact lines to say. You will naturally act in abundance. This is another thing with charging up front. I always recommend people to charge up front. You know how people say oh, you can charge half first, half after, and technically it's fine. I don't understand why people charge up front. I've gotten away with it. It's not about the money. Me losing a couple $100, me losing $1,000 over the time of my lifetime, that doesn't mean anything. It's an identity thing. I refuse to bend to someone else's rules. And it sounds horrible, but this is how I had to play. Because when you act as if you already have your dream client is amazing, boys. This is This is a really good point. I'm glad you brought that up, bro. You want to. There's two things, right? There's ego and then there's humility. Instantly, most people think you don't want to have an ego, humility is better. Society has told you this, and in all honesty, there is some truth to it. The thing is, ego has served me in my life extremely well. I have found that in my life, when I had the biggest ego was when I made the most progress. And I promise you, every single person you look up to, on the outside, they seem extremely humble, but when they sleep at night, they know that they're the hot shit. What I kind of love and what has made me the most progress, I've been thinking about this for like 3 years, boys, and it's I can finally say it's paid off, because I used to talk about this in theory with my friends and everyone called me insane. You have a big ego. You have a big ego. You believe that I am the shit. I am an editor that can work with any creator. I am someone that I can work harder than anyone else. I'm a grinder. Like, you have an ego. But at the same time, you need to have the humility to see where you objectively are. So you put your ego up here, and then you use your humility to work hard as hell to fulfill it. So the way you level up, so this is like on a ladder, the way you level up, you put your ego here, and then you go up to here. With your humility, you work hard and you get here. And then as soon as you've gotten to this point, you put your ego up here. And then you take the next step. And when you've achieved this, you go to the next step. You go to the next. That's how you make progress. You will never achieve anything unless you fundamentally believe that you can achieve it. That was a quote by Hormozy. If you want to achieve anything big, the first thing you need to do is believe that it's possible. So when it comes to speaking with clients, you speak with full conviction. You speak with somewhat ego. Honestly, not ego as in you like make them feel small, but ego as in like you have full confidence in your service. You have full confidence that it is. When I work with a client, I promise you, my genuine mindset is I'm still getting the worst end of the deal. I'm actually doing this guy a favor by working with him, because by working with me, you get to stop DMing all these other editors that are gonna like fuck you over. I'm actually gonna try and do videos. Like, if you don't work with me, it's your loss, bro. Like, I won't say that, but that's what I feel inside. I'll have that ego, and I have the humility to say, okay, I have set myself this like identity, but I still have to actually get the video done. I'm really glad we came up to this topic, because this deadass, like, this isn't even about editing anymore. This is your fucking life leveling up, man. Even if you want confidence, like in real life, you get the ego. I'm the shit. I'm that fucking guy. It sounds cringe, but that's what you need to think about yourself. People will call it cringe. It'll be that one loser who has nothing going for him that will call it cringe. But every single guy that that feels good about himself, that walks around with his chest out and is achieving things, he believes that he's the shit. Ronaldo mentality. I'm not a football fan. I don't watch much football, but I've heard people say that, yeah. So when you try outreach and it doesn't work, inevitably, I think a lot of people here won't have this mindset, but in case anyone here does, I tried outreach, it doesn't work, that's why I'm going to stop. Realize I still get like less than 5% of people that respond back to me. Honestly, this is still probably close to 1-2%. That means I reach out to 100 people and I'd be lucky to get a couple that reach back. And that's at my stage with my amount of social proof. So if you're getting like 1 out of 200 people that message you back, 1 out of 100, 1 out of 50, like, that's normal. The way you get better and you increase your response rates is by doing the thing. If you've outreached and it doesn't work, the worst thing you can do is stop outreaching. Most of your problems can be solved by just doing more of that thing. If you want to improve at editing, one of the best ways to do it, surprise, surprise, is edit more videos. It's not with this one certain plugin, this one AI tool. You editing more videos, just having more volume will make you better at editing. You want to get better at outreach? You get better by outreaching. And there's a lot you need to do. There's this one quote from Alex Hormozy. Most people have a dramatic underestimation of how much volume it takes to become successful in anything. I heard this quote about a year ago. I thought I understood it. Every 3 to 6 months, I realized I had no idea how much is required. It was actually while so just for context on my sort of like own personal life journey, I was basically around like 16 to 17 when I was making money editing, like starting it up. 17 to 18 was where I was making enough to say like I don't need to go uni. If I could make this happen. So I applied to uni and I didn't go. And now the new term starts. So this is, I think, September 2023? 2023, yeah. September 2023. This is where I truly felt the weight of my decisions. Up to this point, I had kind of seen it as a small thing, but then reality hit me. I was like, every single person in my life that I know is in university right now. Every single one, except a couple, and the few that aren't are doing an apprenticeship, so they're already working, or they're just waiting to get into uni. Meanwhile, I had just decided to take a huge step in a different direction. And it fucking dawned on me. It was only when I had been in like a sort of rut. It was I'm sure everyone here has been in something they call a rut, and maybe they've called it burnout. I felt like I was in one of these periods, and it was during this time. And after journaling for a while, and I mean a while, like over the course of a few weeks, what I came down to was I'm finally realizing that this is the decision I made. If it was easy, this is what hard feels like. If it was easy, everyone would do it. You wanted to do something exceptional, like you wanted, not exceptional as in like a nice word, like exceptional as in crazy, but exceptional as in like by its raw definition, everyone is doing one thing. You are the exception. You're doing something exceptional. It will take an exceptional amount of work. It will feel different. Nobody else feels this. But nobody else makes the money you want. This is a part of the work. So now I still remember making this decision. I said, you have two paths. You apply to uni, you get a job, or you keep going. So basically, pursue entrepreneurship. And you boys all know which one I've taken. But the reason I took it, honestly, wasn't even because entrepreneurship was like fancy. I couldn't imagine the feeling of going back to my parents with almost my tail in between my legs saying that you were right. I couldn't imagine that every single person that looked up to me in my like friend group were not looked up to in a weird way, but if I've had people come up to me and literally just randomly say like, yeah bro, like I actually really respect you. Like I know I don't say this often, like, and I'm like, I get caught aback by it. And they're like, yeah, you're like the one guy that does like fucking everything. Like you've basically in the last few years like sorted your life out. You make money, you're in shape, you're confident, like you've got everything. And then I'm gonna fall back and like say, oh yeah, by the way guys, like I fucked up, like I was wrong. This scared me so much that I was like, okay, I am willing to endure this. I'm willing to fix it. I'm not burnt out. I'm just figuring out that this is what I signed up for. Most people have no idea how much is actually required. You tell yourself you want to be financially free. You tell yourself you don't want to work a normal job. You tell yourself you don't want to go uni. You tell yourself you want to make more money than anyone else you know. You're going to have to do more work than anyone else you know. So after sending 5 outreach messages, I want you to, okay, think about this. Think about that kid in your class from that you would go to school with. And there's like one person where, okay, most people don't care about business. Most people want a normal job. There's like 1 or 2 guys that kind of are thinking about business. Like you can tell they're ambitious, but they don't really do anything. If you told that guy to send 10 outreaches, he would send 10 outreaches. Even he could do that. Even someone that doesn't want to pursue entrepreneurship can still send 10 outreaches. What's hard and what separates the people that actually make the progress and the people that are ambitious and want and kind of want to is, can you send hundreds and hundreds and hundreds without seeing results to the point where it's inevitable that you end up getting successful. If you send enough outreaches, it is inevitable that at least one of them will give you a chance. It's inevitable. It's impossible for you to lose. There's only two things that you can do. You either quit or you give up. It either works, like it either like you become successful or you quit before you become successful. There's no other way to actually like operate. The phrase that's really helped me, boys, how many reps would it take for it to be unreasonable for you to fail? A lot of you know, like, if I don't know how long have you boys been watching like the YouTube and stuff? I've been doing it for like 8-9 months. How many months have you boys been watching it? Like, just roughly months. 6 months. Else has been there for a while. At the start, yeah. I'm not the best speaker. Especially the first few months. You can see me improving at speaking, and I'm still nowhere near my best. I don't think you boys realize the mental turmoil that I felt before recording. Literally, like, it caused me physical pain to get in front of a camera. I would procrastinate for hours because I hated it. The only thing I had in my mind, if I just keep recording videos, it's impossible for me to not be good. Like, it's if I just recorded 100 videos, I is it reasonable that I will be at least a little bit better? Yes, okay. Record 100, then complain. What if after 100 videos you're still shit? Okay, if I recorded 200 videos, would I be decent? Probably would be, yeah. You just keep going until it's physically impossible for you to fail. How many outreaches do you need to send for it to be physically statistically impossible for you not to get a client? If you sent 5 outreaches, okay, you might get ignored. If you sent 10, okay, you might get ignored. If you sent 500 outreaches over the next 6 months, if you sent 1,000, you're telling me not one of those people will give you a chance. And honestly, all it takes is one person giving you a chance. All it takes is one person giving you a fucking chance. Actionable steps. Go outreach to at least 30 people. Basically, when we were in London, me, Eros, Brandon and Kirill, we stayed in London for a few days. And there was one night where we had all just gone out and we came back. And we were in the living room now. And we're just chilling. I think I was working on videos. Eros, I think, was working on a edit. And Brandon was just like kind of chilling on Twitter. Because of the nature of all our personalities, including everyone in the editing layer, we naturally talk about business. I'm sure you boys, like, our spare time is we'd like talking about getting clients, making money. Brandon was basically talking about, like, I think he was saying, he was complaining about his clients, right? He was complaining about his clients. Eros literally just looked at him and said, go outreach. Like, have you been outreaching? Brandon kind of shies away, says no. Eros just says, okay, 15 minutes outreach right now. You're not allowed to do anything else. He basically put him in timeout. He put him in timeout and he said, you're not allowed to do anything but outreach. The truth is, that works. That will work. But it's very rare that you're going to have someone in your house that tells you to outreach. Nobody is going to help you. Nobody will force you. He got 2 messages from that 15 minutes. This is what I mean. Like, you can literally solve most of your problems by just doing the thing. The truth is, Brandon was lucky that day that he had Eros to basically kick him up the arse. Most of us aren't going to have that. Most days, you are not going to have someone that loves you enough. This sounds sad. Nobody loves you enough to do the work for you. Nobody loves you enough, maybe your mother, but most people won't come into your room when you're feeling lazy, kick down your door and then tell you to work. You have to take the active choice to take the actionable steps. Go out to 30 people. Dedicate time every day. I typed day twice, my bad boys. Shitty ass spelling. To outreach. Dedicate it every single day. You just do it. And literally whenever you're on your phone, just like you're in the car, you're in the car on the way to school, go outreach. You're going for a walk, outreach. You're cooking while you're eating, let's say you're on your phone, because I mean you shouldn't be, but you don't fucking listen anyways. You might at least do something productive with that time, innit? Like, I just outreach, bro. And I'm saying this because this is what I was doing. I would literally be outreach. I shit you boys not. I would be in class. Like, I'm learning maths or something. I'll outreach. Like, I'd be sitting with my phone there. I'm not allowed in class, but I'd be outreaching, bro. And it was obsessive. Like, I'd be taking the shit and be out. Like, bro, like, you can find a time. This is what it takes. And a year later, you'll look back at yourself. You will look back at all the DMs that you've sent. You look back at every single one. Realize that you got ghosted by 99% of them. But the 1% that did respond, they ended up changing your life. So go do that. And this is a little bonus thing. There's something called a success trap, which is a concept that I wish I realized earlier because I actually fell victim to this. Realize that one of the biggest causes of your failure and your downfall will actually be your success. There's a cycle that everyone will go through. You work and you find some success because of that, whether that be instantly, whether that be delayed, but you find success from your work. And then you feel comfortable because of it. And then you feel comfortable so you don't feel the need to work. So then you regress. You go backwards on your progress. And then your life kind of falls apart until you hate yourself so much that you start working again. Then you see success. Then you get comfortable because you got successful. Then you stop working. So it's just a horrible cycle to be in. And this is how after months you just end up not making progress. What this looks like with outreach, and I see a lot of creators go through this, they outreach for a week, they get a client, they feel comfortable that they got the client, so they don't outreach anymore. That client leaves them and they have no one else that they're working with, and then they hate their life because their income just went from a couple of K to basically nothing again. And then they start outreaching again. Don't wait until you're in a shit period to start outreaching. Outreach all the time, and especially when times are good, that's when you floor the gas pedal. Don't wait until you have no clients to outreach again. When times are good, you continue outreaching. Does that make sense, boys? This is something I wish I learned about. This cycle, this will dictate your life. I promise you, if you can catch these patterns in your life with every area, okay, you'll start working on your social skills. You'll start making more friends. You get comfortable, so you don't really start meeting new people. And because you don't meet new people, you're not really you don't go out as much because, hey, I have friends anyways. My social skills are all right. To the point where 6 months later, you'll realize, oh shit, I haven't gone out of the house in days. So you work on your social skills again. And then it's, yeah. No worries, Ivan. Just a quick, just to summarize this, you basically intercept here. This is where you intercept. Instead of going to regression, you continue working. Well, actually, it's more like here. It's more here. When you get success, see that as a reason to work more. I'll be so real. This sounds so stupid and egotistical. I get scared when I make money now. I'll keep it so raw. When I make a decent amount of money, I get scared because it means I know myself. I don't need money anymore. That's gonna make me stop working. So I literally started journaling don't slack. This is where most people would stop. Most people would make this much money and then start chilling. Don't do that. You don't want what most people have. Don't do what most people do. Like, keep working. Work as if you don't have the money. Like, that's what's helped me. Would you still outreach even if I don't have much extra time to work on more clients? I would still outreach. Go through the iterative pricing framework. Basically, you keep outreaching, and if you want to exchange a client, you just basically you up your prices more and more. You just give higher and higher prices. So let's say you have, like, let's say your max is 4 clients. If you have 4 clients that you're working like to the brim with, and I mean like you're doing deep work sessions every single day, and it's not cope, like you're actually working all day, still outreach. But when you get a client, let's say they're all for like $400 each, just highball it for like 600 to like 800 or something. Just highball it. So if they say no, who cares? You still had the clients. If they say yes, then you can exchange it. And if it turns out that you can't you still can't take it on, you can just say no. Sorry, bro. Like, I've been super busy recently. Like, you both realize you can give a price and then take it back. Like, not take it back as in you go lower. You can give a price and say, oh, bro, like I don't think we can work together right now. They can still go in the future. They can still work with you. That's actually worked with, honestly, most of my clients. That's happened with Sonar. In between the 2 videos that I've done for her, like, there were about 3 videos that I said I'd work with her, and I just ended up not doing it. With the Sidemen, there was a project that I actually took on. It came up to their deadline. This is, I believe the boys in London knew about this. No, I think I only told Eros though. One of the Sidemen jobs, like, I was supposed to work with them a month earlier than I did. I took on the video, and then I just said, like, bro, I can't do this. Like, I'm not gonna have the time. I would love to work on a future project, but I don't wanna be late on this. Sorry, bro. He just said it's fine. A month later, he hit me up again. Like, this happens. You can give a crazy price and say no. And the good thing about this is now the next time that you talk to them, you've already anchored yourself at this price. You physically don't need to go lower than this. If anything, it's easy to sell them at this price point because a few months has passed, so it makes sense that you're better now. So it's always good to outreach, boys, trust me. So that concludes our outreach lecture. How did you boys all find this? Everyone just unmute.
It was really good.
Wow, that's crazy.
Massive W.
My bad.
Good. It's good.
Awesome, lads. Everyone, what's the one thing that you've learned so far? Like, the one thing that really stuck out to you?
The volume, that the Hormozy quote.
The ego. I never think of that. Yeah, I need to up my ego.
Gotta make sure we have the humility to know we're not there yet, but the ego definitely helps. Ego in public, humility in private, boys.
I think I need to change my mindset to, like, okay, niche is important, but I need to just work in, like, whoever I can for the price at the same time. So.
I believe Irv, you said is Irv still in here? Oh, actually, yeah, he is. Irvin. I believe Irvin said there was one part where you related with the most.
Yeah, basically what you have there right there, the success trap. That's something that I find myself falling into, whether it's in editing or whether it's in life. Honestly, it's something that really it can get out of hand if you don't really pay attention to it. So I'm just glad you brought it to my attention because I didn't realize it was a thing, and I thought that was just something kind of with me. So yeah, I appreciate that.
No worries, bro. This is what I love about just these calls in general. I actually wrote this down a few days ago in my gratitude journal. How cool is it, man? You can go through like such a not shitty experience, but just life. Life is challenges, right? And I've gone through like certain experiences, fucking hated my life for periods of it, and now I'm able to say like, yo, this part of my life I fucked up. Don't do that. This part did well. Do that, and you get to literally skip years. I don't think you believe years. Like how old is everyone in here? 19, 16, 22, 17. Realistically, like I'm 19, boys. we're all actually like extremely young. The amount of money we're talking, most people don't even make that in like their 40s, 50s. Or like, do you know what I mean? Like, most people don't make that at all, like, ever. And we're able to not only make the money, but it's something we like doing, and you literally change as a person. It's not like, oh, you get a job and sure, it pays well. Like, like there's some accounting jobs and like you can work at the big four. There's like these 4 companies that basically every accountant wants to go into. And there was this, I've met a few people that go to these sort of companies. There was this one girl that I met recently who she works at PwC, which is like one of the big accounting firms, whatever. I can tell she hates her job. I can tell she fucking hates it. It takes her fucking soul, bro. And I feel so sad that you can do that just to make like, it's not even a good income, it's like a decent income. I'm pretty sure she's making like a little under 100k, I believe, from like I know one of my cousins work at a similar company. It's like, you're selling your soul for that. She's 19, no bro, she's 25 or something. But fuck, man. Grateful for the editing there, man. Grateful for the editing there. Sorry, bro, it's getting all emotional on you. I'm down bad for this, man. Cry is crazy. But yeah, boys. Next week, we're going to be doing the Preventing Burnout lecture. I think this is something that's super, super important for all of us. How to not kill yourself. Kirill, quite literally the How to Not Kill Yourself lecture. But because something that a lot of my IRL friends and just people that know me have always said, I'm someone that works. Like, you have no idea how many people have told me, like, you need to stop working and, oh, you're gonna get burnt out. The truth is, I have learned how to not get burnt out. I get more work done in a week than most people do in like 6 months when it comes to like money making activities. I've been doing this for like 4 years. I would say my entrepreneurship journey sort of started when I was making Fortnite videos for myself. Since I was early 16 or like late 15 years old, I've basically worked every single day, and I can still say like I've loved it. I've loved it throughout. So preventing burnout, getting out of ruts, it's going to be super interesting. But yeah, boys, other than that, W lecture, W call. We'll have the recording of this sent. Hopefully it got recorded properly. Recording up in Classroom, Malice calls, and I'll also have a post about it. Next week we'll have the burnout lecture. Also, I'm gonna post a post now about like the wins that you boys are getting. Everyone, I just want you to type in like a certain win that you've gotten since you've joined the editing layer, like the biggest win you can. And I'm gonna do like I want to do calls with some of the guys that have made like, a ton of progress, just because I want to figure out what have you found the most useful, and basically I just want to gas you up as well. So you can like flex on fucking everyone saying how much progress you've made. So I'm gonna make a post about sharing your wins, and you boys can all type on that.